they told you about the public side of Barefoot Sanders. Certainly Dad's work was very important to him, but equally important was his family. So we, his children, would like to share with you a few things about our father, which are perhaps less well known. I am Martha Crockett, one of his 4 children. This is not just my statement, however, but a joint effort by all 4 of us. My siblings are up here to help if the need arises. First, let us share with you some of the lessons we learned from Dad and what he meant to us. He had high expectations of us, but never doubted our ability to succeed. He let us choose our own way and was equally proud of each of us, supporting us in choices that we made even as we chose differently. We passed through a variety of professions: grocery store checker, bartender, landscaper and waitress, drummer, newspaper reporter, caterer, receptionist. For him, it was all okay. He was a good listener, never rushing to judgment. When times were toughest, he was the go-to person. We sought him out for advice from everything from child rearing to legal advice to legal counsel, and his opinions carried tremendous weight. He taught us to respect our elders, to care about those who were less fortunate, and not to measure a person's value by his net worth. He conveyed to us a strong sense of right and wrong. He was thrifty in his own life, but always generous to others. He had a strong work ethic and great love for his country, which he passed down to us. We learned from his example to fight for what we believed in, but also to be willing to listen to those with opposing points of view. He had a sense of humor and dry wit that ensured that we never took ourselves too seriously. So what was this very public man like when he was at home? What was important to him when he was not at work? Well, of course, there were his dogs. Today there is Buddy. Before that, Hannah, Tasha, Bud, Fred, and Snoopy. There was our childhood dog, Charmaine, and Dad's very first dog, Smart. The constant companion in his life was our mother. He would not have known what to do without her. She knew him better than anyone else, particularly that sensitive side, which he showed only to her. He preferred home-cooked meals to restaurants, and although he traveled the world, he liked nothing better than sitting in his favorite chair in the living room, a dog at his feet, the newspaper and a cigar on the table beside him. Dad was a loyal UT fan and never missed a Texas OU game. Although required by his position to stay out of politics, he loved to debate political issues with family members daring enough to take him on. He never forgot a name and never failed to follow up with a thank you note for any hospitality extended to him. He was fiercely loyal, and even at his busiest, never missed an important family event. He would wake every morning and put on a freshly ironed shirt and slacks, even after his retirement. Each of us has our own childhood memories of Dad, which we will treasure. Janet remembers standing on her father's shoes and being waltzed around the living room, a record on the hi-fi, in our first house on Newcomb Drive. I remember the long-distance car trips to national parks like Yellowstone and Glacier. It was all the more adventurous since we never knew where we would spend the night, making that decision only when it started getting dark. Mary, whom Dad nicknamed Tuffy, remembers hitching a ride on Dad's back as he did the breaststroke in the swimming pool at Rambler Road. Biff recalls using Dad's body as a jungle gym. Biff would climb up and down and all around, while Dad, unfazed, would read the paper. The one single source of memories that we all have in common is the farm, the land that Dad bought in 1951 with the GI Bill, just outside of Fate, Texas. A few dozen cows grazed the land dotted by mesquite and fenced in by barbed wire that Dad would repair when needed. Some men play golf on the weekend. Never a golfer, Dad would go to the farm instead. And when we got older, he would bring us too. Mom would pack a picnic and would bring along a couple of bamboo fishing poles to try our luck in catching perch in the small pond in the middle of one field. We would walk through the tall grass, scaring up grasshoppers and jackrabbits, keeping a sharp eye out for rattlesnakes. And so, even as the press celebrates the accomplishments of the courageous judge, the skilled politician, the dedicated public servant, the vision of Dad that each of us as his children hold in our hearts is this: Dad with a straw hat on his head, a handkerchief in his pocket, calling the cows to the barn in the Texas twilight. And sometimes we stayed late enough to watch the stars.